Do you think India's policy and regulatory frameworks like IRDAI, CERT-In, DPDP are evolving fast enough to support integrated cyber insurance models like mitigators?
We have gone through a very stringent process of getting our licenses as well through IRDAI. So we know that regulatory bodies are putting up their best in the form of ensuring that people start looking at deploying the basic controls in place to have a very good cyber posture and to have a very good digital ecosystem, because any act of war in the form of cyber crime is something that we would want to keep away.
Compliance can often be complex and time consuming, we all know that. How does the Mitigator console simplify frameworks like GDPR, ISO related compliances, DPDP for organizations?
Compliance is not new. People have been doing compliance governance for so long. There have been a lot of Big Four involvement where people go through a stringent audit process, they do their policy framework.
Can digital risk really be measured like a financial risk, and how does this help organizations to secure themselves better? Hello everyone, I'm Mohit Sharma and welcome to CyberSuraksha Dialogues, a podcast by Veloxx Media, a dynamic knowledge sharing platform committed to fostering learning, innovation and collaboration across industries. At Veloxx Media, we believe that knowledge is most powerful when shared, and through this series, we bring together voices that are shaping the future of cybersecurity. CyberSuraksha Dialogues is a podcast series that will feature conversations with policymakers, industry leaders, and technology experts who are redefining how we secure our digital world. From data protection and AI governance to cryptography and cyber resilience to build a secure digital Bharat. In today's episode, we are joined by Mr. Archit Vyas, Head of Partnerships, Mitigata, as we explore cyber resilience unpacked, bridging security, policy, and insurance. Archit, thanks for being here. Thanks for being with us and agreeing to share the insights. I'll pass it on to you, please. If you can just tell us.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to impart knowledge around what we have been doing, what we are building in Mitigata. Happy to maybe give you a quick walkthrough of what we are building.
Absolutely. If you can just take us a little bit. Just a brief introduction about Mitigata,
sure.
What you guys are doing, what the team is currently working into in the cybersecurity space. I think that'll set a really good tone to the discussion.
Sure. So Mitigata acts as the first entity which brings in cyber resilience across all departments of security, compliance, and insurance. So we identified the gap pretty early on. A lot of regulatory frameworks were getting developed, and we thought we should definitely focus on bringing all things together, and we connected those dots. And we are currently serving majorly into 3 departments of security, compliance, and insurance. Team of about 100 now, and we are headquartered in Bangalore. We have a regional office in Gurgaon. Our sales operations are across India. We majorly serve Indian clients. We are currently serving more than 500 odd entities, which includes RBI regulated banks, fintech companies, NBFCs, housing finance companies, manufacturing entities, IT consulting companies, and these are across 25 plus odd industries. So that is a little bit of introduction around what we have done.
That's really impressive, actually,
and,
I think.
This is something that we have achieved in the last 1.5 years. And that surprises people many a times.
Me too. It did me as well. No, I think it's really impressive that in such a short span, I think the team and the company, they're already active in such significant spaces. These are very strong names to the Indian, not just the economy, but as a country itself. And I think you guys must be really proud. So many congratulations for that.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Acknowledgement and appreciation, what keeps us moving, and we would want to deliver for more and more companies. A lot of privacy related policies are coming up, and we would want to be the first mover in terms of helping entities to cater to all things in one place.
That's great. And I think, and I'm sure at this space, the recognition doesn't come very often or very easily, right? Because the space is really competitive.
That's right.
So I think many congratulations. Let's jump to the discussions right
Absolutely.
away. The first question I think we'll have is let's start with the basics.
Sure.
Right? we often use cybersecurity and cyber resilience interchangeably.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, from Mitigata's perspective, how are they different? Why does resilience matter more today?
Sure. So, see, we have evolved as a country altogether in the form of how we consume information.
That's good.
And in the form of how IT landscape has changed from the times of 2000 and in the last 25 years.
Tremendously.
IT is very dynamic right now. So cybersecurity basically entails that you put controls in place so that you feel that you are securing your systems, you are securing all the IT infra that you have at your end. But cyber resilience mean that you are thinking more from the perspective of the customer as well. So you have a holistic picture of how governance and compliance is done. How are you proactively ensuring that there are controls that are put into place, but also followed in the company. Just putting in controls will not ensure that you are secure.
Right.
The idea would be that there is a good governance that is put on top of it. People are actually obliging to the controls that are being implemented in an organization. There is an awareness with which they can act on those controls, on those policies. And parallelly, while you will go to the gym, while you will probably eat healthy, there are always chances of risk that can come up as a health hazard. Similarly, for cyber health hazard, it is important that you do those risk transfer, and that risk transfer comes in the form of insurance. So we do the last leg of that, which is basically providing insurance policies. God forbid if something goes down south, even after implementing those controls and policies, cyber insurance basically takes care of your organization health.
That's a very interesting space, actually. I think
Thanks.
I mentioned this, before the discussion as well, and we'll definitely, look forward to dig deeper into this because we don't see a lot of dialogue happening around the cyber insurance concept, right? So, we might, drill you further on that.
No problem at all.
Awesome. Archit, Mitigata's AI-driven ReLIQ model quantify cyber risk, right? Now, can digital risk really be measured like a financial risk? And how does this help organizations to, secure themselves better?
We get these questions a lot when we speak with many CISOs and IT managers, and they always, have a tendency of going back to their upper management and financial teams to get approvals specifically on finances for deploying these products because these come at a cost.
Right.
For SMEs, it becomes even more difficult to put monies in deploying these cybersecurity products because there is an expense to it. So we would want to quantify these type of IT related risk with a model which already exists and is being heavily accepted across Fortune 500 companies across the globe, and is based on an open source technology of FAIR Institute. We actually work on FAIR Institute's risk quantification module. Data Security Council of India has partnered with FAIR Institute to ensure that more and more people leverage the risk quantification technique to quantify how IT related infra and IT controls are going to be impacted in financial terms. So we give a dollar value or an INR value to the IT controls that are put into place, not just a red, amber, green, or maybe high, critical, low, medium vulnerabilities, because those are good on papers. But for management and finance teams along with IT teams to have a look into their financial risk coming out of IT, it becomes imperative that they have some risk quantification module in place. That's where Mitigata's ReLIQ come into picture, and it actually creates like a roadmap in the form of financial terms that, okay, for an entity type this, having an employee size of this, working in a particular industry, having these controls, can have a probable ransomware exposure of X value,
Correct.
can have a business downtime of Y value, can have a data breach related exposure of Z value. So that's what we quantify.
Well, that's really great, and I think you rightly mentioned that it makes a lot of sense for SMEs. The bigger companies, they do have the budgets available, and they can take a very quick call on this. But for SMEs, it really means a lot if they can really use this model, take benefit from this model, but up to an extent that is affordable for them.
Yeah,
and I think
I
that's
would like
something.
to add one more point, which is a use case for ReLIQ, not just to quantify IT-related exposure, but also to optimize the insurance policy. Because many of the insurance policies that are there in the market, these are general policies. People do not know how much coverage that they should be buying. So what they do is they just relate it to only their revenue numbers. That okay, if I am earning 12 crore as an annual revenue,
Should be this
and
much
if my
percent.
business downtime is 1 month, so let's take 1 CR as a policy. That's not a good way of quantifying your risk. So we try to optimize insurance policy also on the basis of this ReLIQ report.
Wow. And I'm sure this must be greatly helpful as well as you'll move along with more and more companies as well. Moving on, Archit, compliance can often be complex and time consuming. We all know that. But how does the Mitigata console simplify frameworks like GDPR, ISO related compliances, DPDP for organizations? How does Mitigata really comes into that picture?
I'll tell you a background of it, where compliance is not new. People have been doing compliance governance for so long. There have been a lot of Big Four involvement where people go through a stringent audit process. They do their policy framework, and they structure the governance in a way where they would want to ensure that they are up to the mark of certain certification level. The challenge comes in when there is no automation, when there is a lot of manual effort that goes on doing evidence collection, showing proof of concept, maintaining the risk registers, defining workflows for it, ensuring how the change management happen. I will probably speak about, let's say, ISO for an example. It consists of 93 controls. It becomes very difficult for a single IT person to manage these policies at an organization level. And even if these policies go through a change, the change management cycle is also to be ensured.
Right.
And for keeping a track of all of these things, automation definitely helps, which saves up on your upkeep of the documentation, upkeep of how an external audit would oversee your frameworks time to time. Because for many banks, many regulated entities, external audit happens quite often. So you would not want to pull out these documents or evidences from your email or Google Drive. A dashboarding functionality definitely helps, where Mitigata console, closely stitch these policies together in a very beautifully designed, structure where you have all of these things as headers, and you quickly can jump on to each individual sections and can give access to external auditors to quickly review, quickly qualify you. So it reduces your time of your vendor onboarding. It reduces your time of getting approvals for any regulatory nod. So that's what we
Anything
are
that has a
building.
lengthier process, and I think
yeah.
the quantum of data that we are working with
Yeah.
during these days, I think this kind of a dashboard and technology definitely is
Again,
required
adding
in the
to the
background.
point, Mohit, many of the frameworks that we talk about, maybe GDPR or DPDP, let's say, there will always be overlapping controls across these policies.
Absolutely.
Some policies that are drafted in ISO will have some implication in SOC 2 or maybe PCI DSS. So cross connections of frameworks that you have already deployed, you would want to reduce your efforts of duplicating those things again, which also again saves up your time and your cost.
Absolutely, and you want them to sync together as well.
Exactly.
You don't really want your same team, same resource
Yeah.
to really
So
get
these
into
frameworks
multiple
are
things.
interconnected
That's
also on
correct.
the dashboard.
That's correct. Great. Next question that I have, Archit, is so you also offer digital forensics and incident response services, right? Can you share how that works in practice and why it's crucial in the active response layer, these days?
So ideally, people put up controls again and policies, and usually, as Indians, or I would say as humans, people tend to do reactive approach
That's
of
correct.
handling to any
Not
scenarios.
proactive, yeah.
What we would want to do different is that we already understand an organization's business continuity plan, the controls that they've put into place, so that we can, whenever there's a red button that is pushed from the client, there is an active forensic layer that can come into the picture. The root cause of that cyber incident has to be analyzed faster to be able to respond to that cyber threat activity, to be able to reduce the turnaround time of responding to that threat situation, and to also reduce the impact of financial losses that you can have. So we do digital forensics and incident response as part of our third layer, which is the part of our response related activities. So anything related to forensics, incident response, disaster recovery, data backup, creation of evidences, patch management is something that we do as part of our cyber insurance program also. So people do not have to worry that, okay, if there is a cyber claim that has to be triggered, we proactively work on doing these activities quickly, and we connect the dots and we respond to threat activities faster, and we minimize the damages that are being done via the threat activities. We have actually done it for our existing client, where we have averted scenarios where they even did not have to kick in their policy. We contained the cyber scenarios within the permissible limits, and there was no actual loss to the client in the first place.
Really impressive. So you basically become the single point of their cybersecurity.
Absolutely.
Any kind of concern.
So our motto is to be the one-stop cyber friend for all the people who need services around cybersecurity.
Excellent. Great. Now let's see a little bigger picture. Archit, now do you think India's policy and regulatory frameworks like IRDAI, CERT-In, DPDP are evolving fast enough to support integrated cyber insurance models like mitigators, like yours?
Sure. Kudos to all the regulators who have, drafted different type of sector-specific frameworks on how people should look at cybersecurity. SEBI has its own cybersecurity framework, which is called SEBI's CSCRF. RBI has its own cybersecurity framework and audit, methodologies. IRDAI, we are a IRDAI licensed entity, and we are a corporate insurance broker. So we have gone through a very stringent process of getting our licenses as well through IRDAI. So we know that regulatory bodies are putting up their best in the form of ensuring that people start looking at deploying the basic controls in place to have a very good cyber posture and to have a very good digital ecosystem, because any act of war in the form of cyber crime is something that we would want to keep away of and to avoid. Having said that, I would especially highlight the point where awareness is something that is happening at a level of individual awareness, because a lot of cyber scams keep on happening, and you might be hearing in a lot of news that people are going through financial frauds. There are two type of things. Financial frauds definitely creates an impact, but government is also focusing on privacy for an individual's PII data or card information or children's information, which is a critical part of information. So to be able to ensure that regulators are not only taking active measures of deploying controls, but also to ensure that cyber insurance is also actively being taken up to avoid any scenarios, is something that I would want to see as next steps. Because health insurance, or let's say term insurance, people started thinking on those lines when COVID happened.
That's correct.
When there
That's
is a
correct.
real damage that is done, that's where people think of insurance. We would want that, regulatory bodies actually mandate it for critical industries such as banking, finance, healthcare, educational setups to have a mandatory cyber insurance policy as part of their overall cyber insurance program.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a very huge change for
Yeah.
for a country like India. I think much needed as well.
Yeah.
But your last point actually create my next question as well.
Okay.
Do you think cyber insurance will one day become as common as a car or a health insurance, or is it always going to be a specialized product for just larger players, large industry players? What do you think?
While I would love to have this as a very common product
Yeah.
which everyone buys, because it brings more business to us as well.
But it kind of saves their business as well.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. The only challenge is right now we are in a space where we are creating awareness.
Yeah, that's
So
correct.
when Paytm came in, people were trying to ensure that the adoption happens in the form of awareness, where people start looking at those QR codes. They understand that
Right.
there is a new methodology with which they can make payment.
Which is
it
safe
had,
as
it
well.
had taken some time, yeah, which is safe as well,
Yeah.
which had taken some time for adoption. So there is still time, and we would want to be again, the first institute to be parting that knowledge, to be parting that awareness that there is a tool that you can use, which is again an insurance. And before anything else, as an investment, I have always been told by my forefathers that insurance is something that you should do first.
Absolutely.
Because risk mitigation is the first strategy that you should have as your long-term plan. Then comes investment and saving. So insurance definitely is something that I would want that it becomes a common commodity, specifically around cyber as well.
So it's a mindset that
Mindset
really
that
has
needs to change, yeah.
In conjunction with the policies and the compliances that
Absolutely,
come across with it.
absolutely.
Great. Archit, thanks for all the inputs, and I think it was really insightful as well for companies who are looking into the cyberspace.
Sure.
Before we conclude, the discussion, Archit, your expert thoughts, because you've been a head of partnerships, so you understand how does multiple players in this space really work in an integrated manner, right?
Yeah.
So would love to use your knowledge as well. Let's say any youngster, any new companies who are looking to who are aspired to be coming into the space. Can you suggest some books like which
Sure,
you would
sure.
recommend to them? They should look into.
Absolutely. So I've been following Mr. Navi Vijay Shankar, who is also the chairman of FDPPI. It is a federation for data privacy principles in India. And it has a lot of DPOs, data privacy officers, as part of its institute. So Mr. Navi Vijay Shankar, he is 90 plus.
Wow.
He has read cyber law in and out. And he has written a book called Guardians of Privacy. It is majorly on DPDP, and it is definitely the subject of the hour. So I would really recommend that people read his book, which is around the data privacy and the indigenous data privacy, on how we are actually looking into it. Another book that I can recommend is from Mr. Mukesh Chaudhary. He has served a lot of government of India initiatives in threat intelligence.
Oh, wow.
And he has written a book called Mastering Honeypots. How would you create honeypots to trap cyber threat actors to be able to eradicate cyber scenarios?
Before
It's
they
a beautiful,
become before they become so
susceptible,
dangerous.
yeah.
Susceptible,
So this book, Mastering Honeypots by Mukesh Chaudhary, is something that people should definitely give it a try.
Well, the second one definitely it gets my interest as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Archit, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us, being with us here today. Thanks for sharing your insights
Thank
as
you
well.
so much for having me.
It was our pleasure, and we hope Mitigata really keeps working on such sensitive points, sensitive topics, which the country really needs. And I think we are really grateful that you've been working so patiently considering that we are still evolving to that stage where cyber insurance can be considered as one of the key compliance factor whenever you are starting a company or when you reach somewhere and to protect your business. So thanks again, Archit. Thank you very much. It was lovely to have
Thank
you
you
here.
so much. Likewise, I had a
Great.
pleasure chatting with you.